Welcome to GripeCast with your host, Alex Hernandez. This show is dedicated to consumer technology news and pop culture. GripeCast is owned by TECHAERIS. Visit TECHAERIS.com for the latest tech reviews, news, entertainment, and pop culture. Now sit tight, the show's about to begin. All right, welcome to the least listened to podcast on the internet. This is GripeCast, episode 49, January 29th, Wednesday, hump day. I hope you guys have had a great week. I hope you all have had a great month, and hopefully you guys are all staying warm as things have been cold around the country for a lot of people, including us here in southern Missouri. And we're grateful and thankful to have the weather breaking a bit, and we'll be in the 60s today and high 50s, and I think we might hit a 70 this week at some point. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get that cold off of me. So I'm just going to jump into it. Today's podcast is going to be a little different. I've done one like this before. If you're watching on YouTube or on Rumble, you'll see I just have some imagery playing in the other window. Normally I have a window open with a browser and I'm flipping through articles or some other material. But this podcast, I just wanted to talk about a comment that I received on one of my videos just recently. And that is the idea or the opinion that YouTube shouldn't be a job. It got me thinking. You know, I've been doing this since I've had my own website since 2013. I've been doing what I do at least since 2011, writing for other outlets and you know, working for them. But the first 5 years of TECHAERIS, I worked a full-time job. The job where I worked for 16 and a half years. And the job prior to that, I worked 13 years. I believe it was 13 or 14 years. So I've been employed by employers, you know, air quotes, the traditional job, I guess you can call it. When I started TECHAERIS in 2013, I was working a job that I'd been at for already at that point 11 years. So I was doing my full-time job and I was working on the website. And the website started off as a hobby, kind of like just for fun. I like tech. I like technology. I like consumer tech. I like home theater. I like all that kind of stuff. So I was writing about it, and it gained traction. It gained traction, and after 5 years of doing that, I'm gonna try to keep this short. It actually took off, and things started moving to a point where I could quit my full-time job. But through those 5 years, and through this whole time for the past since I started in 2013, since I started the website in 2013, all the way up to now, I've put money back into the site. So there's been a lot of investment going in. That's just my personal money. It's not. I've not been VC'd. I've not had any kind of investors come in. It's all been me, and the money we make goes right back into the site. And it's still to this day, I have operating costs that I have to cover. Before all this, before the site, or actually during the site, I'll even say this because, you know, I probably had the same sort of opinion back in the day. The idea that YouTube shouldn't be a job, or the idea that content creation shouldn't be a job. The idea that somehow people who create content, people who write, people who do videos, and people that just generally create this sort of content are not working is preposterous. You know, I didn't get angry at this comment because I've had that thought myself. And that's what I was saying earlier is I used to think, you know, 6 years ago, the reason I did TECHAERIS and the reason I went the route that I went instead of doing YouTube is because of this very opinion. I thought, you know, YouTube is just a bunch of people kind of putzing around, just not really working, not doing any work. Whereas what I was doing is a lot of work. And I'm going to give you some reasons why content creation is a real job. at least my opinions. And you guys, feel free to talk about this in the comments, whether or not you agree with me or you do agree with me. Either way, I don't hate anybody, and if there are trolls coming in that want to troll, that's fine. I won't engage with you. I don't engage with that kind of behavior, but I do know there are some legitimate people that have this sort of opinion, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree. There was a time that I was averse to YouTube content creation and Instagram content creation and all that. There is a lot of content creation I don't like, and I don't agree with all the content creation that there is. But if someone's willing to watch it and willing to pay for it and willing to invest their time into watching their content, then it is what it is. I'm not going to stop that. All I can do is create the content that I want to create, and hopefully you guys will want to consume. I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind over the past few years because of the situation we've faced with Google and my own website. Now, with all this deranking and the algorithm changes, there's been just a lot of different issues with that. And so now we are working hard I am working hard because I'm alone now. I am working hard to get back on track, but part of that plan is YouTube. And this is a real job. To me, this is a real job. I'm here. I work practically 7 days a week. If it's not writing, it's working on the site, making sure things are functioning properly, making sure all that is just there. And because I don't have a background tech person that takes care of all this kind of stuff. I have to do everything myself. I have to pay bills still. There's a lot of costs that go into running a website, and YouTube not so much, because YouTube takes care of the back end. But I have a back end on my website, so I have to take care of that. Here's the reasons I think that content creation, and I'm sticking up for all content creators. So this podcast, I am sticking up for all YouTubers and content creators. And that's funny. Like the other day, I thought to myself, I'm a YouTuber now, and because for most of the time that have had my TECHAERIS website, I've just only written. We've done YouTube videos, but now I'm doing more YouTube videos and more podcasts. So I was really kind of laughing at myself because I was like, I'm a YouTuber now. I used to make fun of those guys. So it's funny to me. It's humorous to me. So these are five. I came up with 5 reasons why I think content creation is a real job and legitimate. Content creation, it contributes to the economy. Content creators can generate revenue through different channels like advertising and sponsorships and affiliate marketing, merchandise sales, and even direct support from the fans, from you guys, from memberships. And that's the other thing. We do have join the YouTube channel. We have memberships are live now, so check that out. But there's also other crowdfunding platforms that content creators use, like Patreon and Ko-fi, Buy Me a Coffee, all that kind of stuff. This is income that creators pull in, and it supports not only the creator, but it also stimulates the economy through the purchase of goods and services. There's a lot of gear that goes into having to run a channel or run a website. So that money that comes in, it's not like YouTubers and content creators are just sitting on a pile of cash. It's a business, and you have to reinvest into the business. So when the money comes in, sometimes you have gear to buy, sometimes you have things to get, or websites to maintain, and that keeps the economic wheels turning. Whether or not you see it is another matter. Content creators also employ others, like editors, graphic designers, and even managers. And there's a lot of big YouTubers that have whole crews that do these sorts of jobs. So there are jobs that content creators do make for others, and it depends on the size of the creator. Skills and requirements and professionalism. That's another thing. Content creation involves a broad set of skills, which includes writing, video production, editing, SEO, marketing, and audience engagement. Some of these things I didn't learn. I had no clue when I came in about video editing or editing or SEO, and audience engagement has been a big issue for me. I am by nature, I am a introvert. I am antisocial. You wouldn't know that if you met me in real life and we chatted. I can speak with people, but when I go to events like CES and MWC and those other things, and I interface with PR people and other creators, I have no problem speaking with people, and I can be in a social setting, but it is not my favorite thing to do. So that is something I had to learn, is audience engagement, and I'm still learning that right now because I have a hard time with it. And one of the things I know that I have a hard time with is negative feedback, negative comments, not feedback. I welcome feedback. It's the trolling. I don't like trolls. I don't like negative comments that are just negative comments to be negative. So that is part of the reason why I'm more of an introvert. I just prefer to stay to myself in my inner circle, my wife and kids and my family, and that's just how I've always been. So this has been at least this year, last 6 months since I've decided to start ramping up on my YouTube and my podcasts, I've had to become more engaged with the audience. It's something I never did when I had my website. My website was just kind of static, and I would just write my articles, I would write my reviews, people would read them, and that's it. I didn't really engage with the audience. But now, as YouTube's a whole different beast, and I know I have to be here to talk with you guys and engage with you guys. And I appreciate, just because I'm not a social person and I'm an introvert doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you guys, because I do 100%. And anytime I say that I appreciate you guys for watching, listening, subscribing, doing all that, it's genuinely from my heart, because I really do appreciate that. But video editing was something else that I had to learn. SEO, website, HTML, there's a lot of things I had to learn to get my website up and running and going. And now with YouTube, I'm having to learn some new things as well. Sound production, video production, more video production, just a whole plethora of different things that I'm learning. But we also, we have to master these skills, and sometimes we have to collaborate with others. And that's one thing I have not yet done, is collaborate. I know a lot of YouTubers collab with each other. I'm still a small channel, so I'm not expecting anybody to come knocking on my door to collab with me, because I don't have as large an audience as a lot of these guys. But it's a professional job, whether you believe that or not. You have to have quality and consistency of content, and we have to approach this thing as in a professional manner, similar to a traditional media job. I've been considered a journalist since 2013, since I started doing and reporting and doing my TECHAERIS website. I've gone to many media events where I've been credentialed. I've done all those things. So I do consider myself a media, and I consider myself a journalist. I'm not a traditional journalist, and I'm not a journalist, investigative journalist. I'm not that type of journalist that goes and investigates things. I investigate new tech, and I bring the news about the new tech. That is also journalism. So you have to be able to work amongst other media and function in those scenarios, in that space, and I've been able to do that. I've even written for Newsweek, and that was back in the COVID time when they needed some articles about certain tech things that you can get for your house, when you're locked down and all this kind of stuff. There is a level of skill and professionalism required to do this job. On to point number 3. Cultural and educational impact. So whether you like it or not, and there's oftentimes I don't like it, even as a content creator, but content creators, they have influence over the culture, and it can get frustrating. I get it. because there are a ton of people that I don't want to be influencing me or my kids or the culture at large. Right now, with the ability for people to just pick up a mic and a phone and throw themselves up on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, it's human nature. People gravitate towards certain things, and I have my audience here. I know you guys aren't a large audience, but you're here and you're listening to me, and I do have some. I don't like to say it because I don't particularly want to be responsible for that, but I know that sometimes what I say has influence over your decisions, over people's choices as far as technology goes, and so that's a big thing. That's a big thing that this job brings. It can influence public opinion, but it also brings education. There's times people are looking for stuff on certain laptops or smartphones, or I just did I did a video yesterday on the Razr Plus, Motorola Razr Plus 2023 version. Is it a nice phone for 2025? And some people want to know that, and so they're getting educated. So there's a level of educational impact that being a content creator brings. All right, being a YouTuber also means not only a YouTuber, but also having your own website and working in this space like I do. I interface with a lot of brands, a lot of big brands, and I'm able to, they send me a product to review, and I write about it. I've written about it for years, and now I'm doing YouTube videos. But companies and brands, they rely now on influencers and content creators for their marketing, and it's not there. I will say this: I know that there are certain content creators out there that will do something for just the money, and they don't care about the product. And that's the kind of crap that I don't like. But that's not what I do here. I generally try to stay away from brands and product that I think they're probably not going to be good, and I try to stick with good, well-known brands, and they send me product which goes back, and I review it and I write about it, but they do not get any sort of editorial look at the content that I create. They don't get to approve anything. They don't get to preview anything. It's all done by me and not shown to them until you see it. And that's just how I work. But I do know, and this gives content creation and YouTubers, and it gives us a bad name. The good ones, it gives a bad name when you have people that just simply push a product and that they've never touched just to get a paycheck. So doing this with brands, it's led to formal partnerships, brand ambassador roles, and creator specific awards. So that right there is another way that the content creation and YouTubing is moving the economy. All right, finally, the fifth and final reason is content creation can often lead to building not only your own brand, but working with other brands and working as a consultant, and even sometimes some content creators transition from their YouTubing or their whatever they're doing into a job that needs their skill. So, and whether you believe it or not, it takes a lot of skill to do what I do and what a lot of content creators do. That in a nutshell, I'm saying I don't agree that YouTube shouldn't be a job. Creating content is not free. So when a YouTuber or a website starts gaining traction, you have to start creating more content, and that requires more equipment, more time, more people, and that requires more money. So if people are enjoying somebody's content and they continue to grow, I don't blame anybody for continuing on that path of growth and making their YouTube channel or their website the best it can be. And that's what it is. That to me, YouTube, whether I like the content creator or I don't like the content creator, YouTube is a job. So I want to give also, before I close this podcast out, I want to give 5 more ways that that content creation and content creators invest in their own business, because that's something that you do not see. You have cameras and equipment upgrades, like cameras, microphones, and lighting, high quality recording equipment, software, editing software, video editing software, photo editing software, and all that goes on and on. And then you have education and skill development. I mean, sometimes you have to sit down. I just didn't figure things out. I figured a lot of things on my own, but I had to go and find sources for other things. So books and seminars and workshops and courses. Those things are all things that content creators will have to go through in order to make something of the channel and of their content. And as they grow, if you continue to grow, you want to do better. You want to bring better product out to your listeners and to your viewers. So you pursue those things to make things better. Content production, sometimes you have to hire people, you have to outsource, and I've done that a few times, but not a whole lot. I try to do everything in-house myself, which I think leads to burnout, and I have been burned out quite a bit. So there's marketing and promotion. You got to, there's sometimes you have to pay advertising. I've done Google ads, I've done Facebook ads, I've done Twitter ads, I've done those things, and that takes money. And you put that money in. This past 2 years, I have not had a marketing and promotion budget. I've not been able to advertise. And then there's tech and infrastructure. We have to develop the website. There's the back end of things. The hosting and all that other kind of stuff. That is all part of running a website, not YouTube so much, because YouTube handles all the back end, but definitely for TECHAERIS.com, I have to do all of the back end stuff, and I have to invest in that. And when things break, it's normally me that's going in to figure out why. So it's a lot of work. All right, that wraps it up, guys. I just wanted to address that. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, what you guys think. Is YouTube or is content creation in general a real job, or should it even be a job? My answer is yes. Whether I like the content or not, I think it should be a real job, or considered a real job, because it is. And there are some people. I'm not going to deny that there are people out there, content creators or YouTubers, that are kind of ridiculous and silly, and I don't consume their content. But if people are watching them and they do what they do, and people are enjoying it, then hey, what can I do about that? I'm not going to stop people from enjoying someone else's content. It is what it is. And hopefully, as this year progresses in 25, my content here on YouTube gets better, and I'm working to do different things and up the level of things. Right now, with the way things have been, my reinvestment into my business has kind of been put on a hold. Not really investing much of anything into the business last year. So, but we are just trying to regroup and I am trying to regroup and reposition myself, and YouTube is one of those ways that I'm doing it. It's not something I ever wanted to do, because I don't particularly like cameras. I don't like this camera here. It's not something I enjoy talking into, and but maybe as time goes on, I will become more comfortable with this, and as time goes on, I will be able to speak a little better. I know that I stop and I pause quite a bit. And when I go through post-production, I do remove things sometimes where I have long pauses, or I may have not expressed myself in the most articulate manner. And I say a lot of ums too. But that is it for this episode of the Least Listened to podcast on the internet. And someday we will have more listeners, and we will still be the least listened to podcast on the internet, because I really like that line. It's self-deprecating, and I enjoy it. I really do appreciate all that you guys do, especially those of you that have been with me since the Google Plus days and have supported me for all these years. I can't even. It's been so long. I don't think I would even remember everybody's names, but I do know that I had a very large support base back in the Google Plus days, and I know that several of you are still with me, and I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you to all the new subs and the new people that are on board. I know, I appreciate the support, and hopefully more encouragement from everybody. I could use that quite a bit. I think everybody can use some encouragement, but I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sweat the fact that some people are going to hate on content creation and YouTube and think that this is not a real job. But, I'm just going to let it roll off my back. But I wanted to bring it up in this podcast because I wanted to see what you guys, I want you to comment below and just discuss. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for sticking in with me, and hopefully you listen to the entire podcast. Please subscribe, comment, share, do the things down there the little guys begging you to please do, and comment, and make sure you visit TECHAERIS.com, read reviews, read whatever is there, and share with your friends, and make sure you take care of each other, take care of the people around you, take care of your family. Be blessed, and we will talk to you on the other side.